Let's bring in Omar Rahman now, who's a fellow at the Middle East Council on Global Affairs. He kindly joins me live from New York. Thank you to you, sir. When a country carries out attacks on another country's territory without its permission, kills some of its civilians, how is that viewed by international law?
Well, it's viewed negatively by international law. I'm not an international lawyer, but what Israel has done over the past few days in Lebanon, I think, is a clear violation of international law, starting with the operation blowing up pagers. Even the former head of the CIA today, Leon Panetta, said that this was an act of terrorism. So I think starting with that, but then just the overwhelming use of force against civilian infrastructure. I mean, 500 civilians, around 500 Lebanese civilians were killed today. Israel has this, use of a disproportionate force, which is against international law. So in many ways, I think it is violating. It's a rogue state that's acting beyond the rules of war.
Omar, when we saw Ukraine attacked by Russia, countries around the world rushed to condemn what was happening. They also rushed to provide financial assistance, military assistance. Are we going to see countries rushing to help Lebanon?
The world has been silent over the past year, relatively speaking, in the halls of power, particularly in the West, first with Gaza. And I think that will be true of Lebanon. I don't think, I know for a fact that most countries in the region do not want to see an escalation of war, even those who are parties to it at the moment, including Iran, including Hezbollah for that matter. The United States, I also don't think, wants a wider escalation here because it knows it will inevitably be dragged into it. At the same time, U.S. policy over the past year bears a lot of responsibility for where we are today. The United States has funded, has armed the Israelis, and this has encouraged and emboldened them to, escalate in various arenas, to do whatever it wants, and that is pushing us closer to war. So I think U.S. policy bears a lot of responsibility, and I don't think, anybody is going to face the Israelis and intervene on behalf of the Lebanese.
We've seen from our correspondent, many thousands of Lebanese people are fleeing. They're heading north. They're just trying to run for their lives. People in times of crisis like this will look to their government to help them, to protect them. I know it's only an interim government in Lebanon, but it's still a government. It's a sovereign nation. Where's the Lebanese army? As I just quickly read, they have, I think, at least 80,000 troops. They have a navy, they have an air force. Where are they and why are they not doing anything?
It's a good question. I mean, the Lebanese state is a very weak one. The Lebanese army is weaker than Hezbollah's army. Whether it would intervene in some sense, to protect the Lebanese state and territory and sovereignty, you would think it would. But, at the moment, it hasn't done so. I think, maybe some view this as a Hezbollah versus Israel war and is leaving Hezbollah to fight that. But, maybe we will see the intervention or the participation of the Lebanese army in a fight against Israel. We also, maybe they want to stay out of it so that the entirety of the Lebanese countryside is not bombed and reduced to rubble by the Israeli state, by the Israeli war machine. But we may also see other parties enter this on behalf of Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a key cog in the axis of resistance. It's a key ally of Iran, and it has very close relations with armed groups throughout the region that are part of that axis. So we could see an intervention from them as well.
Omar, thank you so much for your time. My guest, Omar Rahman, fellow at the Middle East Council on Global Affairs. He joins me from New York.